Quick Takes with Ed Masterson.
Okay, I ran into a question that has come up a number of times, and it's just a simple application question. Well, simple, I say. But a number of people have asked, what can be done to hook up an analog amplifier to a modern TV? One guy, he said he had an 80-inch, had an 80-inch TV, and he wants to be able to hook up his analog amplifier to it. So how would you suggest they address that?
So you say analog amplifier. I'll broaden that a little. So a stereo receiver, maybe an older piece of electronics that does not have digital processing built into it. Right. So analog is the correct term, but a lot of people might understand that. Up to a point back, let's say up through the early or the mid '80s, there was no such thing as digital stuff in your electronics, other than the displays, I suppose. But CD was the advent of digital, and after that came outboard DACs, things like that. The whole idea of a D-Day converter, which a CD player has built into it. Back then, you wouldn't have any kind of a digital input. So TVs now are all digital. The audio signal is digital, a digital format. Most TVs, virtually all, these days have a digital output of some kind. There was a point when flat panels came out where that digital output didn't exist or it was flaky. But at that time they had an analog option. I'll go there for a second, for those people that have the older TVs. Or if you don't want to do a digital, there's another way. Most TVs do have an analog output. The older ones would have, the classic red and white jacks you could hook up, and it would be the audio signal from the TV, going out that you could plug into your amplifier. And then you could use your volume control. Some of them you could use the volume control on the TV. Back then, though, that was probably not advised. The sound quality in the volume control on the TV was usually not good. So better to go out at full level and then use the, a full output, so to speak, like all the way up, which is what you get without the volume control. And then use the volume control in your analog, preamplifier or receiver or whatever you've got.
Otherwise, you lose a lot of the data.
Yeah, well, the preamplifiers in a TV analog output back in the day they were generally just horrible. I mean, they just were so noisy, so lossy that you didn't get, the sound was it sounded muffled. I mean, anybody would go, wow, that's not good at all. It's muffled, But the new TVs typically have headphone jacks, and the headphone jacks are the goofy little mini jacks. But I've had people. My nephew's been doing this for a little while now. Not out of choice, out of necessity, but he has a nice 2-channel amplifier hooked up to a nice pair of speakers, and he doesn't have anything else at the moment. So his Blu-ray player is connected to the TV, cable box is connected to the TV, so he connects the headphone output to a pair of RCA jacks going directly into the amplifier. And now the TV's volume, the TV thinks you're wearing headphones, and the TV's volume is controlling that level, and it changes the volume on the speakers. So that's one way to do it. What we do most is add into the system a digital to analog converter of some type. So you could buy fairly modest digital to analog converters, a small little box that you take the digital output from the TV. I should go back to that. So in addition to the headphone jack, most modern TVs also have a digital output. Typically, it's an optical cable, a Toslink cable. You could take that Toslink cable and hook it into, a modern home theater receiver, and it will give you the surround sound that the TV is receiving from the Blu-ray player. Most people connect everything to the receiver and then to the TV, but there's a couple different ways. So if you don't have a receiver, the digital hardware, and you want to connect to this, we're going to say, let's add a D-Day converter, either a small one or a really good one. You can take the digital output from the TV into any most modern D-Day converters. It will then put out an analog signal that will feed your analog amplifier. And you can get very good sound out of a TV. You know, if you're centered and you have the speakers properly placed, you know, it works very well as a TV sound source. And then when you play music, if it's a nice sound system, it's good too.
Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.